I do want to start off by saying there is a lot of good stuff in here. So I just don't want to state the bad and seem like it's all bad, because it's really, really good. There's a lot of great stuff in here, but I'm going to focus on what we need to work on, because that's just one small part, and there's a lot of great parts to it that I just don't need to get into. But I will start off with the history of this too. So back in 2013, and I know there were some comments from the public on this, it was a really big controversial issue with the GROW and Sustany that came out on the east side. And we had over 10,000 petition signatures. We had lots of public engagement for several years, because it just kept coming back to the board in just different formats. I think it may have started at maybe 2010. So from 2010 to 2013, it wasn't voted on until like 2015 and 2016. It was just like a long, long time, lots and lots of hours that the people in East Orange County had to fight that. And they continue to come to the meetings. I feel that, and I think that we were the first ones to even attend a DRC meeting as the public and wanting public comment, that when we showed up, they didn't know how to handle it because they never had public comment before. So it was a little bit funny, but it was like, it was historical too, because things have definitely changed since then. We've gotten more engagement from the public when it comes to growth management. People actually started reading the comp plan, and I don't mean the commissioners, I mean the actual public, and started paying attention to that. And after, though, all that controversy, and we were here till 2:30 in the morning, almost 200 people speaking. I mean, this place was packed with people with red shirts. I think it was like a 6-hour public hearing. It was a very long time, or maybe even longer. We ended at 2:30 in the morning. After that, it was Mayor Teresa Jacobs who told the staff to start this process. And the process was supposed to be, because she saw that controversy between the conflict between the developers and the people, that she wanted something that had a plan for the future and what the residents wanted to see their communities look like. And so, staff started working on that. It got rebranded. Now it's Vision 2050. We got Orange Code, and we are where we are now. But the thing is that it was supposed to be from the bottom up, not top down. It was supposed to be driven by the people and what the people want their communities to look like. So I'm going to jump into financial feasibility, because that is very important. The urban sprawl cluster, rural hamlets, rural village, rural cluster, suburban mix, rural center, those are all, those are urban, that's urban sprawl. And when you have urban sprawl, that type of development into the rural area, we don't have infrastructure, we don't have water, we don't have sewage, we don't have roads. Right now with the GROW that's being built, so we had the neocats that came before us, and I was so happy that Commissioner Moore was like, yeah, let's spend $400 million. So I was like, thank you for your support. But, some of the plan was not feasible. I don't know where the $400 million is going to come from, but we did get almost $150 million from the GROW. But it's $400 million in impact from the GROW, and they're not going to cover all the expenses. Like, that $400 million is just to build roads, and some of them that, like I said, it's impossible to even build. It's still going to be F-rated roads. It's just not going to have the capacity that it needs, like, if we keep growing out there. And that doesn't include maintenance of the roads. Remember, there's an additional cost to the infrastructure beyond just building it. Then you have to maintain it. So you have to think about that cost as well. So when the GROW came about, when we had the community meetings, we actually had Renzo Nastasi, and I have video of it because I recorded the community meetings. he said that we need this development in order to help pay for the roads in this area. Well, as you can see, 400 million to 150 million, that math did not work out. And that's what happens when you have urban sprawl. It does not pay for itself. And guess who pays for that urban sprawl? It's all the other taxpayers. So I am paying for Horizon West. I am paying for the grow. I'm paying for what happens in wherever else we're growing, like that's not smart. For all this urban sprawl, we're all paying for it. The city of Orlando residents are paying for the grow. So, it doesn't pay for itself. And, I just watched this, it's called Strong Towns. It's a YouTube video. I'm sure you all know about it. They just had one come out that said the Ponzi scheme of growth. And so, what really is smart is having, I mentioned Baldwin Park earlier, those type of developments, those have a huge tax base. It's not taking up a lot of infrastructure, and that is what we should be building that pays for itself, not the urban sprawl, which then Baldwin Park is paying for the grow. It's paying for that urban sprawl. And so, we don't have the infrastructure to do these hamlets and villages out in the rural area or the rural cluster because we don't have, so let's say we did, just imagine we did build these out in the east area. How are they going to get to work? Because the roads now can't sustain the traffic from the grow. And now you want to build, because it says 22,000 people you want to put into the east rural area. So that is, you said 9,000 units, so the grow is about 2,000 units. So that's about 5 new grows out in the East Orange County area. Well, if I was elected and Ted Edwards thrown out of office because he voted for the grow, it would be political suicide for me to sit here and be like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and vote for 5 more grows. Yeah, let's do it. No. That I'm termed out, but if I was running again, I would be replaced. I could say goodbye to my political career here in Orange County if I said, let's do 5 more grows. But that's why this plan is saying that we should do 5 more grows in East Orange County. So, that's just insane. So instead of putting that 22,000 people out in urban sprawl, let's move that 22,000 people into the urban core, next to jobs, next to mass transit, where they actually belong and we should be building up, and smarter growth where it actually could pay for itself, higher tax base, more affordable housing. That's what we should be doing. And so, we really have to rethink that. And, I'm not going to vote to approve this without taking these out. And I'm not just talking about just the hamlet and village. There's also thrown in here a rural cluster that's similar to the hamlet and village. And then there's now the suburban mix, which 10 dwelling units per acre. I don't see that in the map in rural east area. I do see it though in District 1. And then the rural center, which and someone else mentioned how crazy this is. So you're going to put an T5 in the rural area. It's just insane. Sorry to, but it's just crazy. So it's not financially feasible. When we're looking at this, we really need to look at how we're using the taxpayers' money and how we grow and develop as well. We'll take that into consideration. And the process here, I'm a little concerned about where we are right now with I call it a package that we received, because I was talking during our briefing with Byron, and he's like, oh, we want to bring all the ideas to the board. However, all the ideas were supposed to be brought to the public, to the people, and then the package we got was supposed to be what the people wanted. Not everything. We don't need everything thrown at us, except for the kitchen sink. We need just what the people wanted. And the people did, The people in East Orange rural area have been very, very clear with what they want. They've always been very clear. They want a rural boundary protection similar to Seminole County. They want one home per 10 acres. They want to protect the Econlockhatchee River Basin. And I'm glad that now we're getting a protection for the St. Johns River, basin area. And I'm just, even in the south side near in District 4, I'm concerned with that intended area, which is on the other side of the river. So we have the river coming down. We have East Orange rural, the east rural area, and then, or just the rural area that's called in the marketplace. And then we have the south section, which goes and borders up against the rural area, but up against the Econlockhatchee headwaters there. And there's high density, it seems to be intended, it's actually literally called intended, for that area. Yeah, the sector is called intended. So that concerns me as well. Why are we putting high density in the headwaters of the Econlockhatchee River where there's a ton of wetlands there? So, that's kind of where I am. I just really wanted this package to be something where, it was from the top, from the bottom up. And it's just concerning. So it says density is restricted to the maximum allowed by the future land use map designation regardless of zoning. So that basically says if this passes, all these densities can be placed wherever. That's, well, according to the map, but within those designated areas. That's what it seems to be. So, yeah, I don't want to make a motion to approve or deny, but I do want to make a motion just to amend, to take out the rural cluster, the rural hamlet, the rural village, and the rural centers from the rural marketplace. And I'm not making a motion to amend the suburban mixed area because that is over in District 1, and I'm assuming that's already a developed place. That's in 2? Well, it's in 1 and 2 then. It's in District 1.
So, Commissioner, just to clarify, if you look at policy LMN 477, there is, when you look at the correlation table, table 162 on page 60 of the document, you're going to identify 2 particular preliminary, or the typologies of suburban residential and suburban mixed. And those are all, they're identified in the policy I just mentioned on page 122 of 2 existing properties that gained that low-medium density residential at the time of the July 1st, 1991 comprehensive plan adoption.
Yeah,
so the only reason why we're keeping
that
those specific ones is because the Vision 2050 is not downfluming any particular parcel in existence, so that's why, and it's only applicable to those specific ones.
Yeah, we're saying the same thing. Okay. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, and just to clarify, just in general terms, the rural, certainly to address your question and Commissioner Wilson's question regarding hamlets and villages, we can do a quick scan and if you decide to transmit today.
And rural cluster.
Okay.
Which rural cluster is the same thing as the hamlet and village, just a different, not as fancy a name.
And we welcome the engagement May 30th, Commissioner. We certainly will dive into the details of those particular, what they bring. And again, we'll listen and we will come back. If you decide to move forward without those and you call that there is no need for the meeting, great. But if you still want us to meet. I want the meeting
to still go through the other pieces of this.
Okay. And we can certainly bring quite a bit of clarification because the rural settlements, 1 to 1, 1 to 2, and 1 to 5, all 20 rural settlements with the 5 that are the historic ones in Orange County, we are being extremely careful about keeping an exact language as they are in today's comprehensive plan. The policy in the comprehensive plan today is of protective nature of those particular rural settlements, they were not touched. They're the exact same policy. The
We're
only
saying
difference
the
that you
same,
see.
we're saying the same thing. I
Okay.
didn't mention anything about those.
Okay.
I'm just mentioning the rural cluster, the rural hamlet, and the rural village.
Very good.
And the rural cluster. Sorry, rural center.
Okay,
Mayor, if I may.
and the rural center, perhaps, Commissioner.
John, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just to a point that Alberto is making, if it's the board's desire to transmit this today with amendments, we're certainly welcome to take that feedback. And again, I think, as Commissioner, as you indicated, there may be some policies that, in order for the board to get comfortable with this particular draft, you would not want to include those policies in your transmittal package, and we're certainly welcome to take that as part of the action today.
Yes, I would really appreciate that, because like I said, there's a lot of good in here. I want to be able to transmit it, but I won't be able to transmit it approving 5 new grows in East Orange County.
Because there's too much good to.
All right, Commissioner Bonilla, is that it for your questions? We still have
Yeah,
several commissioners.
I mean, I did make a motion to amend that, but
We're
I'm not sure.
We're not yet at that point for a motion. I haven't called for a motion yet. We're still having discussion.
But that would be my desire. Thank you.